Okay, welcome to Into the Channel, a podcast primarily about women's football. Before we hit the pitch, if you enjoy the show or love women's football as much as your boys do, subscribe, follow us, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to watch or listen. Comments, ratings, reviews, always appreciated. At ITC_pod on X, at Into the Channel pod on Threads. Into the Channel, presented by just a couple American bros. I am your host, Dino DeCespedes. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Grant Engel. What is up, man?
Feeling fantastic, buddy. There's a big game on Sunday that I feel like a lot of people enjoyed across the world, and I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Can't wait. Not a ton of Champions League happenings this week, but some UWCL teams were in action, so we were blessed with some more great football this weekend. Where do you want to get started?
I mean, we're two American bros. We love our football. It was a game of great consequence on Sunday with an exciting ending, a thrilling ending. And obviously, we don't give a shit about the Chiefs versus the 49ers. We're talking about Lyon and PSG. That was a football game right there, Bubba.
That's football.
Damn right.
Hell yeah. Let's start there. PSG entered this visit to Lyon, 10 points behind the defending champs with a game in hand. PSG had a slight edge in possession, pass accuracy in this one. Lyon, 3 times as many shots and 3 times as many shots on target. From jump, though, PSG treated this one like a straight-up knockout stage match. And you could really tell Lyon was like, okay, I see what level we got to be on today. Poor Daniela Van de Donk, she gets knocked around for the 74-plus minutes she was on and took a sort of really vicious kick to the chest. That was a little scary. Lindsey Horan took home a bloody nose in this one. That got pretty nasty. This one, not for the faint of heart.
For sure, man. I mean, I think PSG came out there, and we've talked about PSG obviously a bunch over the course of the Champions League. They want to play fast, but they're going to play physical too. They are such a compelling club in the way that they will kick your ass and they will outrun you. The more we watch this team, the more I fall in love with them, frankly.
I mean, pretty unexpected because, you know, the PSG brand is not one that I've typically gravitated to. But the way they play is just so impressive and overpowering.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they will win, Champions League or, D1F to get the new playoff system this year, so that'll be exciting. But they absolutely can. And I think in this one, you see 66th minute, Tabitha Chawinga does it again. 1-on, doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter how many you throw back there. She's faster than you. She's relentless. And that finish, she's like running up the left-hand side. So her left foot is like her outside foot. And she somehow like twists towards goal. I can't even really recreate it, but she like twists to the point where she's able to hit the ball with the outside and top of her outside left foot to the right, back across the goalkeeper, totally like befuddling Lyon's Christiane Endler. Like, just a wondrous finish from Chawinga, who came in at number 65 on the Guardian's top 100 list, but might be making a case for, best left winger in the world. She might be the scariest, and there's a lot of 2024 still left to play. Unfortunately, though, 90th minute, desperate-ish ball through from Delphine Cascarino. Takes a very unlucky bounce off of perhaps maybe a little bit too lit, Elisa de Almeida. Ball ends up in PSG's net. 1-1, and Lyon, I feel 100% fine saying this, Lyon escapes their own stadium with a draw. Mr. Grant Engel, what stuck out to you in this one?
I think you're 100% right. I think if you're PSG, you walk out of that match saying, should have won. Like, it's amazing to think about. And our guy, shout out to Cam Pope, who was on the broadcast for DAZN, he pointed it out. It's one of those matches where beforehand, if you would have told PSG, we're walking out of here with a point, they'd be like, okay, that's great. And then you play the match and the way it happened, and they're walking out of there with a point, and they're like, shit, that is a missed opportunity. Because they played well enough to win. I think they deserved to win.
I think they definitely deserved to win. I just wanted to see what their reaction was going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not really rooting for PSG. I'm really was more interested to see, was it going to be like a little bit of an explosion of emotion just from sort of kind of being like second best or sometimes third best in their own league. And now really just being like, no, we can go blow for blow with you. And we're definitely not scared.
Yeah, and I think, as long as we're talking about not scared, Katarzyna Kiedranik, goalkeeper for PSG, fantastic performance. I mean, she had some rockets hit at her. I think it was around like the 20th minute. We're playing Basha ball. She is like in perfect position for the free kick. She's way out on the right wing. God. She delivers. She does exactly what Selma Basha always does. She delivers the perfect cross off the free kick. It goes right onto Lindsay Horan's head. And I think if you ask Horan in that moment, she has to feel like she needs to score that. She drilled it, but she drilled it right at Kiedronick. And Kiedronick still needed the great reflexes to stop it. Even though it's coming straight at her, I mean, she needed to get her hands up in the right way so she's not like, it's not like off her chest, and then like, how that happens with goalkeepers. Like you kind of fumble it a little bit if you don't get two hands on it. And she was right there. She had a couple other great catches, saved another Hegerberg header later in the match. I think that combined with, there were a couple chances that Lyon didn't quite take advantage of, but this was by no means was this Lyon blowing it. I think they just kind of got outplayed throughout big stretches of the match.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, PSG won the possession battle. That cross though for Basha, I mean, perfect. Like it's just perfect. I mean, her skill is off the charts. I mean, it's kind of mesmerizing. And I think that you were right on that Lindsay Horan try, because if you watch the replay from kind of the reverse angle from behind the goal and you look at Horan's face, she has like the wide-eyed look of like, oh, I got her. And then like it gets saved and she's just like, oh, I don't got her. Kind of a bummer.
Hell yeah.
Lindsay Horan, great appearance, by the way, on Sam Mew's podcast. Really illuminating on a lot of stuff, talking about U.S. Women's National Team experience versus playing in Europe.
That's excellent.
And yeah, totally second the Kiedronick call out. She was out of her mind. I mean, they were all just amped. Like, they were like, let's go. Let's play 90 plus minutes of football. We're going to beat this team. It's not like we can beat this team. It's like, we're beating this team today. Even when they scored, it was just kind of like, no like explosive celebration or no sort of like anticipation for the whistle. They're just like, no, all business. That's why it was kind of such a bummer to see De Almeida, OG that one. But even still, she was just kind of like, all right, my mistake, but this is not the end of it.
Yeah, I was really a bummer for De Almeida, who we talk about a lot on this podcast, is just an engine back there at center back. And speaking of, Kiedronick's great play, I think she had it covered before De Almeida's touch. And,
yes,
it's so tough. It's so tough as a center back or even any kind of fullback where your instinct is just like, I can't let it get by me. Like I'm just going to blast this one and we'll live with the corner. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to happen. It happens to the very best. As we could see, I would consider De Almeida up there in that tier amongst the very best. It's just going to happen sometimes. And you even saw it on De Almeida after the match, which sometimes I don't love this when broadcast crews do this, where they like zoom in on somebody like, man, what a heartbreaking moment for you. That's terrible. And they like leave the camera on them. I get annoyed when they do it in pretty much any sport. But I think with De Almeida, she's such a mentality monster, such a tough player. I feel like she's like, okay, my bad, everybody. Let's go out there. And she's going to be fine next match.
Oh, yeah. No, she was fine for the rest of that match. She knows it's not really... It's just part of the game. It's just kind of what happens. But really, really captivating 90 plus minutes of football in that one.
Oh yeah.
It kind of had like Champions League final, semifinal type vibes, which was really, really exciting. Because like you said, I think you mentioned this earlier in the year, they're not really just playing for the table, right? They're really playing for like mind share, attention, audience, like we've got the crown now, and I think that's kind of what's available to them after a long time of Lyon kind of like being top dog in that division. A couple upcoming matches. PSG, they play Guingamp Saturday, February 17th. Lyon won't be back in action until Sunday, March 3rd, when they take on Dijon, who sits 9th in the table in a spicy matchup. So yeah, we'll have to wait a few weeks to catch Lyon. And PSG, yeah, they'll be playing a couple of days here.
We got to give a shout out to our guy Cam Pope and DAZN. This has been really cool to be able to just watch these matches, and now I feel like we are kind of spider webbing out a little bit, which we will get into later in this podcast. But now we kind of get to see more teams, more players outside of the UEFA Women's Champions League. So if PSG is playing, I'm going to look for a way to watch PSG. I think that's just kind of how this is going to go for me for the remainder of the season.
Oh my God, I'm right there with you.